On his first trip outside of Rome in July of 2013, Pope Francis traveled to the island of Lampedusa, the border between Europe and Africa, and one of the nearest gateways for migrants crossing the Mediterranean. Upon returning from his trip, he gave a missive to religious orders, exhorting them on what they should do with refugees. Your convents are empty and should be dedicated to the flesh of Christ. Canonized by Pope Francis in 2022, John Baptist Scalabrini answered that call.
In Scalabrini, we find a very prophetic person, a very prophetic church person, whom we have to follow, especially in our times, when even sociologists now speak about our time as the age of migration.
Saint Scalabrini worked with the Vatican in the 1800s to serve Italian migrants going to the Americas. A diocesan bishop close to Milan, he visited more than 300 parishes and realized his parishioners, his flock, were gone. 100 years later, the dynamics have changed, and Italy is receiving an influx of migrants. Has this dynamic changed the mission?
From the point of view of our origins, that has been a big really change, an important change, also in our mentality. To see that Italy is not just a place of the place of origin of the mission of the Scalabrinian missionaries, but it has become a place of mission.
Casa Scalabrini 634 is run by the missionaries of St. Charles, Scalabrinians, who have been ministering to migrants for over 130 years in 32 countries. This was their seminary, but was transformed into a welcoming center for migrants upon hearing Pope Francis's speech. Casa Scalabrini is run mainly by lay people, where they keep the mission of Scalabrini and Pope Francis front and center.
The strong position that Pope Francis has toward migration, and how much he has been inspiring us through the four verbs, the welcoming, protecting, promoting and integrating, but through each of his messages I think that we can find a little bit of the word of Scalabrini.
This year there have been 33,000 refugees welcomed to Italy. Italy is one of the countries that welcomes the most migrants coming from the Mediterranean. For those that find themselves in a welcoming environment like the Casa Scalabrini 634, true realization is possible. But what is it that the Church understands that the government doesn't?
First of all, I think that the Church understands the humanity of migrants, and first of all for the Church, and this has been, the teaching of the Church since the beginning, does not treat the migrants as numbers, as statistics, as problems, even worse, as problems. The Church thinks and treats migrants as human beings.
Here they regain that autonomy that they probably lost within the government center, and so they actually feel at home, like the guy that did the testimony was sharing with us how bad it was for him, like to sign whenever he was in the government center. It made him feel not free to move. Here he regained his freedom of movement, his life is actually starting to, feel more as he was in his own country in sense of autonomy and freedom. I think that really makes people believe even more in the project, because they are really committed in what we build together.
While most being welcomed by Casa Scalabrini would choose to stay as long as possible, there is a limit to the amount of time someone can remain, with the average stay being 6 months. The home can house 30 guests and organizes lessons to develop life skills that they take with them outside the walls of the house.
Autonomy in the sense of people do not have to become dependent from institutions. People have to learn to have a job, to have housing, to be able to go on with their lives, autonomously.
The government processing centers gave the migrants documents, but didn't integrate them into society. For this reason, Casa Scalabrini focuses on direct community engagement and is committed to educating the local community.
I think a lot has changed, because we have allowed this place to be a place of encounter.
Just as Casa Scalabrini 634 opened as an answer to the call of Pope Francis, let us remember that each one of you refugees who knock on our doors has the face of God and the body of Christ.